Today on TOKKANTE, I want to talk about why I'm confused really about the 2022 updated version of the Omega Speedmaster 57. So this may not be the most popular of opinions, but hear me out. First, we'll look quickly at the 2013 original release of the Speedmaster 57, and then we'll take a look at the updated version for this year and why I'm still confused. Hi everyone and welcome. I'm Ben. So basically, there are two types of Speedmasters. There's the professional line, which are all manual wind, and then there's all the rest of it. Whether, that was the Speedmaster Reduced or the Racing or the different sides of the moon, which incidentally now they are all called the dark side of the moon, even the gray side or the white side, but anyway. And then in 2013, the Speedmaster 57. So actually, it all started in 2012 when the first Omega in Space was the first, Omega with vintage touches or like a vintage tribute. But that one came out with the 1861 manual wind movement. So the 57 came out in 2013, and that was the first one with a 9300 automatic and vintage touches at the same time. So that was already quite confusing to me at the time because it was a more modern Speedmaster than the professional in some aspects because of the caliber 9300 and then the date. But then there was some difference in the dial layout as well because it was a bicompax dial layout. So, similar to the modern look inside of the moon, even though that's kind of a 1940s classic inspired dial layout, and that was never on the vintage Speedmasters, so it's a bit odd. But anyway, and then it had some original 2915 Omega Speedmaster vintage inspired, or you could call them maybe retro styled in some respect. But that was not really true to the original anyway. So all in all, that model was never really super popular. And to me, it was really confusing. So now, fast forward to March of 2022 and the release of the updated version of the Speedmaster 57. So there's been a lot of praise about how the new model fixes all the issues with the 2013 model. It's smaller at 40.5 millimeter versus 41.5, and most importantly, it's a lot thinner at 12.99 millimeter versus over 16 millimeter before. So let's talk about thinner. The new movement inside is the caliber 9906, which is the same as the chronoscope plus date. So more on the chronoscope later. Basically, it's a caliber 9900 automatic that was converted into a manual for a thinner profile, but it's not a manual wind from the start. The problem is now if you want a watch around 40 to 41 automatic Speedmaster, you're not left with a whole lot in the catalog. On the smaller side, you're going to be left with a Speedmaster 38 with a caliber 3300, which is not in-house. And then on the larger side, you'll be left with a different side of the moon and the racing, the moon phase, the two counters. All those are 44.25 automatic versions. But if you want something around 40.5, 41.5, you still have the legacy Speedmaster 57 that are still available on Omega's website, but I'm assuming that they'll be faded out pretty soon anyway. So then you'll have nothing left. So I'm sure this watch is very well constructed. It's smaller, it's thinner, which is all good. But my problem is that what is it trying to be, right? It's not a modern version of the Speedmaster. It's also not a vintage tribute to any particular Speedmaster. I guess it's supposed to be a better daily because it has a date, but now it's a manual wind. So yeah, I'm not sure about that. And then it has a see-through case back, but with this styling, I think it's not really in line with the styling that it's going for. So to me, it looks more like an exercise in style with the different dial colors, and you have the green and you have the burgundy, than something that makes sense in the Speedmaster lineage. Also, going back to the chronoscope, I think it has the same issue with the chronoscope. The case and the dial do not match. There's a mismatch of different eras. When you look at the case of the chronoscope, for example, it's a mid-60s, 1965 Speedmaster professional case, but then the dial is from, the late 30s and 40s, very classic chronograph, bicompact chronograph. So my question is, why does it exist? Do we only care about the looks now without care for being historically accurate? So I think it's very good looking. Again, when you just look at it and if you don't understand the history, it's very good looking. It's very well made. But why does it exist? So is it just one Speedmaster too many? Basically, I'm still confused. So in conclusion, I know that my opinion goes against the grain a little bit because most of the reviews I've read or the YouTube videos I've watched all sing the praises of this updated model, except maybe for the Watchfinder video about the Omega releases. But you have to wonder when you look at the pricing going from €8,700 on the leather strap to €9,100 on the bracelet, which one would you go for? And would you even go for one of these models? For me, I would rather pick the 1957 trilogy. I think if you're going for this sort of look and you can live without a date, this is still a much better pick, and you can actually find it for between 7,000 to 8,000 US dollars. So let me know what you think. Remember to ask yourself what makes you tick. Subscribe for more. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.